Hey guys, it's Matt with Olympus Reptiles, and today we're going to continue talking about how we grew our collection. So kind of where we were. We left off with the $600 pastel, which if you remember was our proven breeder. And so we were starting to get our females, we had a couple males, and if you remember, what drove me to really want to get into ball pythons was the holy grail for me was the Axanthic bumblebee or the zebra bee, which at the time were thousands upon thousands of dollars to purchase, and I got the bright idea to make my own, and you've seen what that could grow into. So one of the next snakes we purchased, I believe we got two at one show, but I'm not real sure. So that's why I'm going to show you two snakes today, was this guy right here. And this guy was probably one of my most exciting purchases I've ever made in the ball python world. And what he is he's an SK Axanthic spider. He was produced and sold by Tallgrass Reptiles. You hear me mention those guys a lot. If you ever do any business with somebody that's not me, I would suggest Tallgrass. They're great. I prefer me, obviously, over them, but they're great, so don't ever hesitate to work with those dudes. But he is just really nice color, really gorgeous. You can really see the silver coloration in him. One of the best ways to show these off, can you kind of keep him up there for a second, Kurt? Kurt really hates when I go off script, which we don't really write a script anyway. Let me pull you out another normal spider. And this is just so you can really see the color difference that the Axanthic brings out. And this spider's actually het Axanthic, but you can see where the lack of the yellow pigment is here, where it's silver compared to that kind of yellowish, goldish, more of an earth tone. And that's what the Axanthic does. And again, there's three lines of Axanthic, or actually more, but three main lines, which would be your Joliffe, your SK, and your VPI, and they're not compatible. So you got to know what line you're working. We work SK here. No line is better than the other. Anybody that tells you this is the best line, this is the best line, they usually just like what they work with. The best example you can find in your line is what's going to be important. And keeping the best examples that you produce, that's what's going to improve that Axanthic line. It's not about which line it is, it's about making sure that you improve that line as you go on. But hopefully that shows off the color pretty well of these guys. Is that picking up pretty good, Kurt?
Yep.
Awesome. You can even see it right there on the heads. It's a pretty cool pose right there. Can't let him hang out too long. It's male and female, but she's too small to breed. He actually is one of our breeder males, and we were expecting him to produce for us this year. So I'll put her back. So anyway, this is Hades, my Axanthic spider, and he was bought for the sole purpose of making zebra bees. There was no other reason that I purchased him but for that. He doesn't show too much of a wobble at all. He's pretty good. When you get him up, yep, there you can see it a little bit if you know what you're looking for. They really can't tell up from down. That's really what the main thing is. They get that kind of sideways look. But he doesn't do what I call, and this is probably a horrible thing to say, but some spiders, I say they look like Stevie Wonder, because they kind of get like this when they get out, and he doesn't do the Stevie Wonder thing. I would say, Stevie, if you watch me, I apologize, but let's be honest, you don't watch me, right, Stevie? Okay, I'll quit picking on Stevie Wonder. Please don't hate me for that. I have kind of a twisted sense of humor. I know he's actually a great performer, so he's done a lot better than I ever will. So props to you, actually, Stevie. We also got this girl here. This girl, guys, I tell you, this girl, if there's one girl that drives me absolutely nuts, it's the snake I'm going to show you. I love her. I named her Sin. It's probably a good name for her. Oh, she got some of the Carefresh on the ground. That's all right. But Sin is she's your straight up pinstripe. I've had this snake for years, and she just won't grow. I think every breeder has that one python that refuses to grow, and Sin is mine. I've got snakes that are younger than her and literally twice her weight. So she is very, very frustrating. She's just hit 1,500 grams finally, so we are going to try to breed her this year. See if it takes or not. I don't know if it will. We're putting her to bananas. And what she does, and what makes her so frustrating, is she'll eat rats for about 4 weeks and stop. Then you got to find what she wants. It might be mice, it might be ASF, it'll be something different. She'll eat that for a few weeks, and then she'll stop, and you got to find the new thing that she's into. So she is kind of our pain. She's never bit me. She's really a sweetheart, unless your name is camera guy Kurt. She did lay into him while I was gone one day. I don't think, how long had it been since she'd eaten, Kurt, when she bit you?
I think she was eating pretty good at that time.
Was she on a good feeding spell? She'd gotten back on feed after not wanting to eat rats and decided she wanted to eat rats again. And as soon as he opened the tub, she came out and bit him right in the hand. So I thought it was hilarious. I was gone. And that was his first bite from an adult, I believe, right?
Yes.
And so she kind of, you know, for lack of a better word, took away his bite virginity. But she's never tagged me, and I think they're beautiful. We're trying to put banana into this, and the banana, this will turn lavender, and you get the really pretty banana kind of yellows, orangish yellows in there. They're just gorgeous. I just wish she would grow for me. She doesn't grow much for what she eats, but she'll get there at her own pace, and that's okay. We'll keep her, let her do it, because we're really excited to produce with Sin. So if you're still keeping up, now at this point in time, our female to male ratio is probably still a little bit heavy to penises, but we're getting better at it, and we're starting to get our projects visualized. So we have a path to the zebra bee, which we're hoping to come to fruition this year. And, you know, we're picking up some other genetics to mix into stuff that we want. So, you know, at this point our collection was growing, that excitement was really starting to build, and we're kind of starting to think, hey, this is what we're really going to try to do. And we were just getting ready to enter our first actual breeding season, which we'll kind of cover too in our next videos. So, that's kind of what I got. Kurt, you got any questions?
Yeah, you've mentioned zebra bee a couple of times. What genetics goes into making that?
First, Kurt, I love when you actually ask questions. So we film these way too late, and camera girl's asleep. And if I wake her up to come, our camera girl, she's now question girl, to come ask questions, she'll get really pissed off, which is bad. You don't want an angry question girl, so she needs her sleep. Excuse me, got tongue-tied. The genetics in the zebra bee are going to be Axanthic, and again, it could be SK, VPI, Joel, it doesn't matter. You're going to have Axanthic in there, you're going to have pastel in there, and you're going to have spider in there. So what you really have is a spider pastel, which is a bumblebee, and the Axanthic makes it a zebra bee. They're going to come out almost white and black as babies, be kind of silverish. They're going to get more silver as they age, where if you were to add, say, super pastel in there, so 2 pastel genes, you're going to get a snake that stays more white and black. It's still going to turn some silver, but if you add something like fire in there with it, so let's say super pastel fire Axanthic spider, I think I got them all in there, then you're going to start to get into that true white and black snake, which is really what the ultimate goal is. So really what I want to hit is, you know, a snake that we've stripped all the color out of and have that great black and white contrast, like a bell that you put a spider pattern on. That's really what I'm shooting for. Any other questions, Kurt?
Nope, that's all.
Perfect. All right, guys, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.